Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 drama. Max Verstappen furious, and understandably so, after withdrawing from the Le Mans 24 hours virtual event that he was participating in over the last couple of days. The tournament was an absolute disaster. Verstappen describes it as a clown show and will refuse to participate in any going forwards, and we'll just focus on Formula 1 instead. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. So here we go. Max Verstappen and his team have been preparing for this for months. He loves to do the online racing in many different series, and he wanted to compete in Le Mans virtual. I think he's made it clear as well that when he does retire from F1, that might be at the end of his contract with Red Bull in 2028. He wants to do some endurance stuff. Probably will do Le Mans in person. I think he's even talked about it with Alonso. They might do that in the future. So this was the start to Le Mans. Now they're doing this on R Factor 2, I believe. That's the platform they're racing on the simulators. Obviously, this isn't real life, but Verstappen will probably do the real life Le Mans at some point or another. He gets a cracking start and already overtakes the top two guys into the first corner. It is leading the race from third position within just a few corners. So pretty incredible start from Verstappen. He was absolutely loving it. But I mean, look, the servers have to live for 24 hours with all the cars, all the teams, track the amount of laps that have been done. It's, it should be achievable. Computers, and if they were doing this on iRacing, they would probably have had a much better time. But I guess R Factor 2 are paying them or whatever to do it on their game, and it was an absolute shambles for many different reasons. And also the teams involved here, like he was on Team Redline, but also Porsche and Williams and other teams, I think they had to pay about $2,500 each to even enter this tournament. So, a lot of people are not going to be happy about this. Indeed, none of the sponsors either, because the tournament's basically been a farce over the last 24 hours or so. So there were some issues, this guy obviously is doing the flips or whatever, so thankfully not a real life incident. But then we get this update just a few hours ago here from Le Mans Virtual saying, unfortunately, the two servers that have been used for the 24-hour of Le Mans Virtual have had a suspected security breach. We are now taking the actions necessary to increase security and will aim to restart the race as soon as possible. With this happening, Verstappen was like, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm out of here. I'm calling it a day. I'm not coming back into this, because they were doing laps. But if they were to disconnect during a lap, then that lap would not necessarily be counted for their team, or it would be counted for some teams and not for others. An absolute shambles, right? And I think what was going on here, there were certain individuals. There was some streamer who accidentally leaked the IP address of the server, and therefore people started DDoS attacking it, right? So direct denial of service attack, which is, it's been used for years. You can flood that address with all this noise such that the server can't cope with it and just shuts down and doesn't work properly. So, a clear issue. They should have, surely you got to think about stuff like this. It's absolute baseline level stuff to ensure your servers can't get hit offline during a 24-hour tournament where everything has to run smoothly. It didn't run smoothly at all. These were the immediate reactions from Verstappen. He got disconnected again, and honestly, look, he's obviously furious under his breath. He's been preparing with his team for this for months, and yet he's been forced out of it for these reasons. He keeps his kind of rage under control, but makes some very good point on the issues with the situation. They had to stop it raining because that was causing the issues with the disconnects, and he's like, look, it's an absolute clown show, a complete farce, and he says he'll never be playing in it again.
Gonna leave the game, yeah?
Yeah, Max, we're not getting the lap back.
Yeah, we need 2 laps, but what it is, they call it, it's amazingly bad luck. Well, this is just incompetence. They can't even control their own game. And this is already the 3rd time this happens to me now, that I get kicked off the game while doing this race. So it's also the last time I'm ever participating. Because what's the point? You prepare for 5 months to try and win this championship. You're leading the championship. You're trying to win this race, which you prepare for 2 months. And they handle it like this. There have been 2 red flags. They blame it on, I don't even know what, people DDoSing the server. Then they cancel the rain, because probably that's already a big influence. And then people are still getting disconnected. And now, of course, at one point also we were hit by it, and then they're just not dealing with it because they need even more people to disconnect. It's just honestly, it's a joke. It's not even, you cannot call this an event, a clown show. That's why it's better to retire the car, because drive around in P15 for 6 hours makes no sense for everyone. Just a disgrace for all the effort we put in as a team. I really hope the organizers also consider where they put this race forward, because on this platform it's not going to work.
It's a damn shame. It's a shame. Let's root for the other guys and pray that we don't get any disconnections. But this is
Yeah, but it's, anyway. I mean, I hope of course they win, but I think I have more chance if I go to Vegas and I'm just gonna go to the casino. I think I have more chance to win.
sorry guys who are watching. It's unfortunate ending of the race for Max.
It's just a shame for everyone here in the team. I mean, we all wanted to do well here and prep, and then you get this. Well, I think I'm gonna uninstall the game. That's nice. Frees up a bit of space on the PC anyway. And I really hope everyone installs the game.
So understandable frustration there from Verstappen. I think he makes a lot of great points about the situation. And the thing is, Verstappen was bringing so many eyes to this tournament, right? The world champion in Formula 1, 2 times reigning. He loves doing the, the sim racing, the endurance stuff online in the simulators. So, here he is competing in this R Factor 2 race, and it's an absolute disaster. And it doesn't look good for them. It doesn't look good for the organisers. He then withdrew and said that he's never competing again. This is what he did on Discord after the fact, explaining the situation. This is obviously it's pretty small, but I'll read it out for you guys. So I'm only going to write this once. It might get deleted, but who cares? After 5 months of preparation, funny that he was prepping for this during the F1 season, after which, during which you had already effectively won it by that point, to fight for a title, around 2 months of prep for Le Mans. This is what we get. This was a disgrace for the sim racing community and for all big brands and drivers involved. Big stutters in terms of like lag spikes and stuff all race long. 2 red flags due to attacks, so they had to stop the race due to these like DDoSing attacks that sometimes they got going again, sometimes they didn't. Again, people were disconnecting from the servers. Some get their laps back, some do not because of this stupid 4-car rule. How can you even rely on the rules when you can't even control your own terrible server? This is not the first time we've done this. I've literally disconnected 3 out of 4 events. So they've done trial runs of this, understandably, but they haven't fixed the problems going into the real deal. You might think after the first or second time you'd learn, but this is just a disaster. The Le Mans organisation should really look into what they want moving forwards, because doing this on this platform is just a clown show. That's one of the arguments. They should have done it on iRacing or just, somewhere where it could be a bit more secure and not have these security breaches they blamed things on. I'm never competing again, and that is all down to your incompetence. I hope many people will follow my lead and we can build something nice somewhere else, because all of us teams, brands and drivers deserve it. So what a statement there from Verstappen, right? Not only calling it a clown show, but saying that he's never doing this again because of their incompetence, and he's going to, and I think he will have some influence here on other drivers saying, you know what, that was a disgrace. Let's not compete in that again. Let's try and sort something out elsewhere with a different organizer or something. Verstappen might take the lead on that, and he's certainly got the pull to do it, and saying that the brands and the drivers and the teams that were involved deserve a better outcome than this. So I completely agreed with Verstappen on this topic. It's an absolute farce, to be honest, what's been happening here, talking about the clown show, but nonetheless, Verstappen being involved does mean this is a much bigger story than it would have been otherwise, and it's going to get more publicity going forward. But he, of course, elected to withdraw from the tournament and from the event, and will not be competing in it again until they either make significant changes or he manages to find another way to make this work in the future. So yeah, intrigued your thoughts on that in the comments below. Funny to me that the biggest story of the day in Formula 1 world is really just the F1 world champion doing some other online racing, other racing, this case online, that wasn't going so well for him. And even this squad I thought was pretty funny. If I go to Vegas and I'm going to the casino, I've got more chance to win than, taking part in that absolute disaster. Now, a few things to mention on the actual Formula 1 side going into the season. We know that Mick Schumacher is no longer racing on the starting grid, but will be Mercedes' 3rd driver for the season. I believe Toto Wolff has given some thoughts on Schumacher over the last 24 hours, suggesting that not only is he going to grow a lot within the team, but also whether it's in our team or letting him go elsewhere, we don't know, but he definitely believes he's going to develop within the team, obviously help their car, develop as well throughout the season. But I think he compared him to the Nick de Vries situation, right? De Vries has been part of the Mercedes family for quite some time, been their reserve driver, went to Formula E, had some great success there, came back to Mercedes, then got his great chance to step in for Williams this season, right at Monza, came P9, then obviously AlphaTauri decided to pick him up and bring him into the Red Bull program. So whether a similar future is possible for Mick Schumacher, there is also the possibility though, depending on how Mick Schumacher gets on. Of course, look, he's going to want to go back into the grid soon. Sauber are going to become Audi Sauber. They will want a German driver. I think Mick Schumacher will be a key target for them, especially with his development that he's probably going to continue having at Mercedes. But nonetheless, at some point Hamilton's going to retire. If Schumacher there is still around, maybe it's a possibility. But Toto Wolff did describe him kind of in the same terminology as Nick de Vries, suggesting that it's not going to be too long until he can get a spot back on the grid at some point or another. And also just to mention that it is about 1 month away now from when the bulk of the car launches are. We know that Red Bull are doing their season launch, probably no real car reveal, only probably a livery reveal on the 3rd of February. Then on the 6th it's Williams, on the 11th it's AlphaTauri, and then 13th maybe is Mercedes, or I think Mercedes is the 15th, and on the 14th, I think 13th is maybe Aston Martin, maybe Alpine as well, I kind of forget, and then on the 14th it's Ferrari. So yeah, it's not actually that long until everything is going to get revealed. So very much interested your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.